Hello everybody, my name is Becky Draper and I'm a Vedic astrologer and Ayurveda health coach, and I help people align with the cosmic cycles. And today we're going to talk about Mars. And Mars is your third chakra and it's the planet of like taking action. And right now Mars is in Pisces, and this is where Mars feels like not very fired up. It's a water sign, and Mars is just kind of like going with the flow. And so Mars is the planet, also the planet that represents war or like our own inner battles. And so when Mars is here in Pisces, Mars doesn't really want to fight. And this is an opportunity for us to like align with something like a cause bigger than ourselves, because we're going to be motivated to align our actions with something more spiritual, or something that is like moving us towards a deeper purpose or a greater cause. And so this is a really beautiful energy with Mars. But then on April 19th, Mars and Saturn come together. So in Vedic astrology, we call this a conjunction. So they'll be at the same place in the sky, which will be in Pisces. And because it's in Pisces, it won't feel as like explosive, because when Mars and Saturn come together, Saturn is the planet that puts like pressure, and Mars is the planet of like war and action. And so this serves to kind of create like a pressure cooker energy. And so in your personal life, this might feel like you need some type of release valve. And so typically, like a Pisces release valve would be like escapism and not really wanting to like face what's actually causing the problem. And so you would escape, use drugs, and try to like not face the problem. And so I believe that this will create like that feeling of like wanting to escape rather than face that like pressure cooker energy. And yet there are very like healthy ways that we can release energy as well. And so we want to like maybe hone in more on like the positive sides of like the martial artist who will do things like yoga to like release energy in a healthy way, rather than having to like use drugs or alcohol to like release that valve. Which I'm not saying that there's not a time and place for something like that, but that is like the Piscean energy is like the avoidance of wanting to face like that pressure cooker. And so in your own life, be aware of like that feeling, and maybe noticing where you want to like turn a release valve, and then figure out how maybe you can do that in a positive way for you and align more with that like martial artist. And then on a global level, and because anytime we're in a time of war, we want to look at what is happening with Mars. And Mars and Saturn coming together during war is not necessarily like a good omen when Saturn is like the planet of death and karmic destruction, and like facing the consequences of our actions, which Mars is actions. And Saturn is what teaches us like the harsher lessons, and it makes sure that we learn the lessons that we came into this life to learn. And so this coming together is creating that pressure cooker in a time of war. And I think there'll be a lot of people that want to like pretend that it's not happening, or try to find ways to like justify the war. And at the same time, there'll be this like behind the scenes pressure cooker happening. And it may seem in the moment, like as we move through the next few weeks, that things are more like a stalemate or more calm, because Saturn slows things down. And so things will kind of start to slow down a little bit and not move as quickly. But that pressure cooker will be building up in the background. And when the release valve goes, which, I don't know when that will be, but I do know that when Mars moves into Aries, and Aries is the first house ruled by Mars, and it's where we're like fired up to fight. And so this that could be like building up to Mars moving into Aries. And when we get into Aries, that might be more of where we're feeling that like fire and fury come out. And because Pisces is a very passive sign, and in your own personal life, when Mars moves into Aries, this is actually a time to take action. It's very motivating, and so it's a good time to start goals and work towards your own goals. But on a global level, I think during a time of war, it's going to feel very explosive. So I am going to leave that there. I would love to know how you think things might play out with Mars and Saturn coming together. And if you want to take a look at where Saturn is at in your or in your chart and what house he's transiting, then I would love to do a deeper reading for you. Leave me a message and I'll see you in the next video.